never done it before, you're young, you're embarrassed. How does it feel the first time?
It is a bit nerve-wracking, but I think you've just got to try and relax and talk to the doctor about it. So say, you know, if I'm feeling a bit nervous, which I am, and it does kind of, if you're verbalising it, I think you kind of just tend to relax a bit more.
Someone tweeted actually to say that she just watches the news on her app to
distract herself.
Yes. So what I also tell people is put your hands by your sides and think about keeping your bottom down and breathing. If you tense against the speculum, that's when it hurts. So just think about bottom down on the bed. I'm just going to pop it in now, if that's okay. So bottom down on the bed and breathe. And this is the point where some women feel some stretching type pain.
Yeah, it's not painful, I describe it just as, it's weird. It's a bit of an odd feeling.
And then these are the brushes, and we will use that just to swipe some cells from the top of this, from the cervix. And at this point, some women will feel a period type pain.
Slightly. No, it's
and then it's over. And then the speculum comes out over really quickly.
You didn't actually.
Oh no, it's the waiting for something to happen. Actually, it didn't happen.
Do you know what? My last smear actually reminded me a bit of vaccinations and giving blood. I always have such fear around them.
And that's worse than the actual process.
And then so often afterwards you say, oh, it's gone.
Yeah. So the other thing that we wanted to show was that if that position is uncomfortable for you, we have alternatives, okay? And Chloe's just going to demonstrate for us that you just roll onto your side and you hug your knees up into your chest. And then we would do the smear exactly the same way, using the same speculum. And some women will find it more comfortable in this position. So if you are uncomfortable, if you have questions, do stop us. And there's loads of information and support on Joe's Trust website.
So that was done in what?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. So for some women it might take a little bit longer if they are uncomfortable, or if we're slowing it down for another reason, or if your cervix, it might be a little bit round the corner and we might have to ask you to put your hands underneath your bottom or give a cough. It might take a bit longer, but generally by a minute or so you're done.
I'm going to leave you to get yourselves sorted, and you're going to join me in a moment for more of a chat. We are going to continue talking about it, but first, earlier this week in the House of Commons, the issue of the number of women going for smears was actually raised by the Conservative MP Rachel McLean, and this is what she said.
10 years ago, I had a cervical smear test that picked up some abnormalities which, if they'd been left untreated, could have developed into something much more serious. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, cervical screening is at a 21-year low, and over a quarter of women don't take up this life-saving test. So will the Prime Minister please join with me? We all know it's a bit uncomfortable and it can be embarrassing for some women, but will she please urge all women up and down the country to take up this life-saving test?
Can I say to my honourable friend, I think her experience shows exactly why it is so important for women to take up this test. And we do need more to encourage women to undertake their cervical screening test. Public Health England will be launching a national campaign shortly to highlight the risks of cervical cancer and encourage women to attend their screening appointments. But I just say this because I as a Prime Minister can stand here and say this. I know what it's like to go through a cervical smear test. It is not comfortable. Sometimes for some it will be embarrassing. Sometimes it's painful. But those few minutes can save lives. So I would encourage all women to take up their smear tests.
Quite a thing, isn't it, when the Prime Minister is talking about having a smear test in the Commons. Let's talk more about it with Carol Taylor, a trustee of Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust. Her sister died of cervical cancer when she